Hello everyone, in this video here I'll be doing a demonstration on how to remove the fender on a Subaru Forester. Now this particular model here I have is a 1999. And as you can see here, I've already started removing some of the parts itself. Now what you'll have, just to begin with, I'll just give you a rough idea what bolts you'll be removing. Now it'll be 3 bolts, one here, another one here, another one here. On the top side of it, they are all 10 mil. Once you open the door, you'll have access to another one right in the top side there that is also 10 mil. There's one behind this trim piece here, which is a 10 mil, and there's also another one located behind the marker light here. I've already popped out the marker light. It's also a 10 mil right in there. Now you also have to remove this little plastic trim, which I've already popped out. I'll show you how to do in a minute. And there's also another bolt inside the fender here, which holds the fender to the bumper itself. Now just to give you a reference on the top part of the fender itself here, you will have to pop open the hood in order to gain access to these bolts. Now these are all 10 mil. You have one right there. About midway down you got your shock tower here. There's another bolt right there. And there's also another one right at the front here, right behind the headlight itself. Now when removing these bolts, you also want to make sure, considering they are fairly small, so they can be prone to breaking or giving you some problems coming out. So it's always good to just spray them with a little bit of penetrating oil, or working back and forth instead of just taking them directly out. You can tighten them up a little bit just to clean the threads up, back them up out of the hole. Then now if it's binding up, do the same thing, tighten it up again. And same, take it back out. Now unfortunately I can't open the door all the way here because it is catching on the fender itself. You can see in here there is the one 10 mil right inside where the door is there. So once you open it, you can actually reach in there. I just used a 3-inch extension on my 3/8 ratchet with a 10 mil socket on there, and I reached it just fine. Now moving down behind the trim here. Now the trim can be a pain to remove. You can see here it's already broken away, but there is a foam double face tape within here that actually holds the trim to the fender itself. Now on the inside here, this is actually supposed to go the other way, but there is a plastic clip which goes in there. Normally what you do, you just pop out the center. Unfortunately I did break mine. They are kind of a one-use style clip, I would assume. Now with removing the mud flap here, I wouldn't bother, because normally what happens, there is plastic clips in behind here, and the rust is prone to these screws inside. So what'll happen once you start loosening them, it'll just break the clip back, and it'll just start spinning, so you can't actually remove those itself. But this is rubber trim, so you can pull it out a little bit. It does have some give to it. And in the inside there, I'm not sure how well you can actually see on the camera itself. I'll just close the door here. Now right up in the top there, it's kind of hard to see. Just point to it here. It's you can see where the wiring harness casing actually goes into the door post itself. Now you can see just directly down there, there is a small 10 mil bolt also in there. That's what you want to gain access to. Same thing, I was able to gain access with a just a standard style 10 mil socket with a 3-inch extension, and on my 3/8 drive ratchet itself. Now moving on to the front side here. Basically, in order to remove the parking light itself, it's fairly simple. It's just a Phillips screw on the top side here. All you want to do is remove that. It actually does sit in a rubber gasket on the bottom side here, which I'll show you in a minute. Now it just pops out. Now it does clip on the side right there into the fender area. Now as for that little rubber washer type thing to hold the screw in place, you can see it there, just so you don't lose it when you're taking this out. Now the wiring harness is fairly long, so you can just hang it up on top of your rad support there. Now in order to remove this trim I find is a little hard to remove, and these clips are also prone to breaking when you want to pull them back. Now what I found the easiest way to do is, the trim does have a little bit of give to it, so it will slide out of the clips. There is a couple clips in behind the headlight here. They're fairly small too, so you don't want to break those. Stuff starts getting costly when you start after replacing stuff here. So basically what I did is I was able to slide it out just a bit, and you can see these are slotted holes on the back side here. So the top one here, I was able to slide it back. Now as for the bottom clip itself, it doesn't slide out as easy, so what I did is I actually slid in a flat screwdriver in there and just assisted it a little to push it out, and basically it just popped right out. And now when reinstalling it, just to show you, it does go into this little groove in the bottom here, so it just snaps back in place there. So once you do the reinstall, you should be fine. Now as for the other 10 mil bolt, it's located right in this location here. Now once I remove all these bolts here, I'll then move on to showing you where the location is for the other bolt within the fender well itself. Now I've already removed the bolt just behind the rubber trim itself, but I went and grabbed a flashlight just so you can see it a little easier. You can see where that rubber grommet I was talking about, which actually goes into the vehicle structure itself, just behind the door here. You can see where the mounting tab is on the fender itself, and then just in behind that is actually where that threaded hole is, where it does bolt up to the vehicle structure. So you can see it's a little easier. Now just another thing I also want to make note of too, when you are removing a fender like this, as you can see, this is fairly banged up. What happens is this can put some tension on some of the mounting locations, especially this one I noticed here the most. What can happen when you remove a bolt, it will pop back. So just kind of be aware of that, just so it doesn't startle you and catch you by off guard. Now as for the bolt in the inner fender itself here, which holds the fender to the bumper, now you want to just remove the plastic liner within the inner fender itself. There's a little notch out here which I found just to slide in a flat screwdriver and just pop this out. Now this is rubber, so it's fairly pliable. It just comes out with no issues at all. There's a little like a little style clip here which does hold the rubber liner to the fender itself, so you just want to make sure when you pop that out and you don't break the clip off. Now I've already been working away here just trying to remove this. Now what I found it's best to do is it does slide into a nylon spacer up at the top there. It's a little hard to see here. I'll just use a flashlight here so you can see it a little better. Now it does go into a nylon liner at the top here into the fender itself, and it just has a hole which goes directly through the bumper there. Now this is also a 10 mil, just like all the other mounting hardware is used on this vehicle. Sometimes it does help to put a little penetrating oil on that. I found this one was spinning because it was actually rusted to the nylon insert there. So basically what I've done is I was able to get to the front side here. Just in the inside there you can see you do have access to it right there. You can see where that metal bar goes straight to that spot there. And I just used a pair of pliers on one side, and then the other side just used a ratchet with the 10 mil no extension on it, and was able to get it out. So once you have that removed, you should be able to remove the fender itself. Now if you are equipped with an antenna here, I'll show you how to remove that in a minute. Now moving on to the antenna itself. Now if your vehicle is equipped with that, I know the newer model Subaru Foresters of the same body style, they no longer have a fender antenna. This model here is a 99, so it is equipped with it. Now you can see in order to remove the antenna mast, on the base of it there is a flat spot on each side. Now I actually don't have a small enough wrench for that, so I'm not exactly sure what size that is. The smallest I had was 8 mil, so it's obviously smaller than that. I just used an adjustable wrench on it just to remove it, and I had no problem at all. Now next what we'll be moving on to here is just the base itself. Now in order to remove the base itself here, basically this chrome piece here is just a nut which holds on the base to the fender here and just goes around the sleeve. Now you can see there's 4 notches in here, so I'm sure there is probably some special tool in order to remove this. Unfortunately I don't have anything like this. Now this does remove counterclockwise to loosen it. Basically what I did here is I just put a flat screwdriver on one of the edges of the notches here, just give it a tap on the back with a hammer, just a light tap, and it just came loose with no problem. And after that, once you remove this nut off, and then the base should come out of the fender itself. Now I just already loosened off the nut here just to give you a better idea about it. You can see how deep it does go within the fender itself there. Next you just want to pop this plastic cap off. You can see it does slide in the fender, just basically a hole there. Then after that, switch spot the grab on here. You can see the antenna is now loose. Now, just in order to remove the fender, you want to make sure you've got a good hold of it here. That should just pop off like so. Now you can see there, just pulling it back. You can see this little plastic clip here. It does have a cut through the center of it, so we do need to depress it in order to disconnect it from this metal rod here, which does hold it to the vehicle structure. Now just to give you a recap of everything here, just to go with the overview of where everything is bolted up, you can see there is one bolt hole there. Next one goes right there. There is one down at the end there. And when we set the fender down here, when we're moving to the front side where the parking light is, you can see there's that one bolt right there. See where the one clip does go into the bottom side here. The next clip is right there. Next we're going to the inner fender itself here. See that plastic tab is there, and I just have to remove it in order to put it on the new fender itself. There's basically that square hole where that nylon insert did go in there. Moving on to the back side here, just behind this plastic trim, you can see where this glue strip was for the plastic trim. Right there is where that one bolt hole went. The next one here, right where you open the door on the top side, right up by the mirror location. Now moving back to the vehicle itself, you can see we got the plastic trim right here where the parking light was located, and we have a bolt which was right in there. Next one was on the top side, right in this general location. Next one moving along here. Moving up further to where the cowl is, we'll have another bolt right there. You can see the witness mark where the one was located right up this mirror location here. Next moving down, this is a lot easier to see now where this was located. See the bolt hole was right there. And moving on to the front side here, now this little bar here just fell down. Apparently it just held in with a plastic clip on the inner fender itself here, but you can see where the mounting location was for it right there. Well, this concludes my tutorial video. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to post them below. Also, please rate this video and subscribe to my channel for further tutorial videos. Thank you for watching.